Hello everyone. Today I got to see the new Steve Jobs movie, and I'm here to give you what are my thoughts on it. It's essentially, of course, due to the title, of course, it's surrounded by the actual fictionalized events of Steve Jobs' life. Because as he says on the internet, it's like, this movie's completely 100% fiction. I'm like, wow. After seeing it, I'm just like, that's remarkable. I was so intrigued by something that didn't really happen to a man who did exist. So just by the sheer engrossment of the film, I was super invested. But this movie is divided into three parts. It's one part of it. One of it is surrounded by him, and one third of it is surrounded by him and his wife and his daughter. Sorting that out. Another part of it is essentially sorting out the deal for him to branch away from his original job that I have with Jeff Daniels and all those other co-producers, like two people like that. And there's a third part with him being interviewed by Seth Rogen's character. And I found this film endlessly fascinating and intriguing, mainly because of the writing by Aaron Sorkin and of the fascinating and visually breathtaking visionary tale that we were taken by this film by the great Danny Boyle, which makes me really, really happy as a whole, because this may be one of his most well-written films, I would definitely say. This is probably one of his most well-written and most concise movie that he's made. But not just like that, but it's just so fascinating. And Steve Jobs, like, granted, I haven't seen the original 2013 movie with, fucking hell, what's his name? I haven't seen the 2013 version with Ashton Kutcher, but still, it's like very, very fascinating to see it all happen. And also, Kate Winslet is in this film, and she's also really great. The way she's intertwined within the story of him and her relationship as they grow along within his career is super fascinating, and it's just really well done in my opinion. It's so fascinating. There's such an intrigue with this film. When you watch Steve Jobs in this movie, it's not like this. It's almost like it has this mind of a crazy man. It's almost like a Frankenstein ideal. Mainly because, like, there's moments when he would just snap. There's moments where he would just have enough. Like, he would say, like you've seen in the trailer, him saying, "She's not my daughter." Like, which is just such heartbreaking moments like that. But you can see this man who almost has, like, Asperger's or something. There's something truly there's something there that he can't control. He has a real mental problem with him or something like that. It's seriously weird. And it gets me confused just thinking about it. Even right after seeing the film, I'm just like, what's wrong with him then? But it's super fascinating, and how they run with it is truly interesting in my own view. And the way he treats people around him is very interesting. He's not like this commanding figure. He's not very down to earth. He's very, very different. There's something when you're around this character, and when you see him in the film, you just don't know what he's going to say. Like, he can make someone very, very close to him. He can make someone very, very close to him feel miserable. He can make someone that he barely knows about feel great. Like, the way, I will say for me, overall, my favorite parts in this movie were definitely the moments with Michael Fassbender as Steve Jobs and Seth Rogen. Those two had some of the best dialogue of the whole year, and that's really saying something, because it was truly well done. The precise, the well-focused demeanor, the dialogue, the way they bounce off each other, it feels truly grand. But not only does it feel grand, but it feels super genuine, and the way they come across is 100% real and truthful, and the way they is like there's a certain weight when you see these two clash together. And there's moments where it does really break your heart, but But then again, it's like those moments where it's really, really upsetting to watch. Like, it's the way he admits it. It's like a true feeling, even though it's not real, because the film is actually very fictionalized. It feels real. You're really somewhat caring for this character, even though he's a real dick at times. And there's moments where the film does try to make him feel like a bit of a villain. But in the end, it's like, this is all for the, it's not really for the greater good, but it's like he's trying so hard to kick off his own thing with the Apple company and to start off all those iPad, Apple produced type of material. And it's truly fascinating to see that just go along. But then again, it's not like him in that company. It's all about him getting out of his previous era and starting anew with the Apple Foundation. Which leads me to one of my least favorite parts of this movie. But as great as this movie is, it's great writing, excellent directing. I love the cinematography in this movie. Just Danny Boyle. I love Danny Boyle. You can check out my very and least favorite of Danny Boyle. It's really great. It's super well done. However, as much as for me is like one of the biggest strengths of Danny Boyle films is that, or for me with any film ever, like I said in previous reviews, is rewatchability. This film it gives you so much, yet so little. It's like we're so intrigued and we're so fascinated by what's happening. It's like, yes, we get our fulfillment, we get what we want at moments, and it's super funny, super interesting. But the way it ends, which is one of my problems, the way it ends is kind of like it's not left to be desired, but it's like same thing with the 2013 Steve Jobs movies. Is that they both end just where it gets fascinating. You want to learn about how he ran his company, but it ends at those moments within his life. And I'm just like, I'm sitting there in the theater like, it's fascinating. And it's like, and while it does end gradual, and I will say it ends kind of like a theater experience, like, it's like, yes, it feels good. But it kind of feels like, it's like, come on, it's just ending at a point where it was just going to get fascinating. That kind of tricked me out. And I thought that was a bit of a cheat. The other problem I have with this movie, which I brought up of, a lot of replayability, this film does not. And that's a real downer for me, because I love. However, this is a very fascinating character look, even though it's, like I said before, it's highly fictionalized. Essentially, this is the Amadeus of Steve Jobs movies. It's fascinating and intriguing, but what you're seeing is not true by any means. It's not based in any history. However, there's a portion of me that goes like, I wish it was, because I wish it was real, because it was just so fascinating. It breaks my heart that what you see in this theater, in this experience, was not true to the character. I wish it could do that. That's one of my biggest problems with Amadeus. Actually, as much as I fucking love Amadeus, and that's one of my favorite movies of all time, is that I do still wish it was true to the character. Why do you have to fictionalize it? I don't understand why. Be fucking realistic. This is a historically based character. Why can't you stick to a historical base? And I know this type of shit drives me in mental. Okay. Calm the hell down. Let's try to wrap this up. Nevertheless, I think the film does not have enough replayability to it. However, it's still highly fascinating. It's a truly interesting and fascinating, well-done piece of cinema. It's some of the best dialogue and some of the best well-written chemistry I've seen all year. It's one of the most fascinating movies you will see this year. Will it be one of my personal favorites? Probably not. But you could definitely see this being like a great, like honorable mention or something. But nevertheless, I really enjoyed Steve Jobs. It has, in my opinion, some really big flaws, like replayability and the ending, and it kind of leaves you with a bit to be desired. But in the end, it's still a great masterclass piece of art film that I really enjoyed watching. I'm gonna give Steve Jobs, a solid 80%. That's my rating for this movie. I know this movie's getting some serious praise. Oh yes, one last thing. Jeff Daniels is awesome in this movie. Is like him both in The Martian and this is like, I can really see him like he could be nominated for an Oscar. And also Michael Fassbender, while I admit he does not look like a thing look like Steve Jobs, by the end you can't help but feel like he did, like granted he doesn't look like Steve Jobs, but in the end you're just like, I'm glad there wasn't anyone else, because I mean he's so fascinating, being such a weight and such a grand, aggressive and intense, like imposing figure. Like granted he's not trying to be like hit. Like granted, he played Magneto in the past in the X-Men movies, but he doesn't do that here. He ditches his German accent and goes straight for American. And like when he picks it, and then picks that language up, picks straight English, the American English, it sounds really commanding. And his vocalization really puts you on edge and making him a really tense, unpredictable, scary bastard that you don't want to be around, but you do want to cheer him on because it's so fascinating. And that's still another great thing I want to say about the writing and the direction of the film. And that's just, he's so freaking good. I still mean he doesn't look like Steve Jobs, where Ashton Kutcher actually looked like Steve Jobs, but it was completely out of character. But I digress. In the end, this is my review of Steve Jobs #1. It's solid, in my opinion, 80%, a good, well-rounded percent for it. And in the end, it's one of the more fascinating and unique films of the year. It may not be one of my personal favorites, but I will say it's really, really fascinating. Thank you for watching, everyone, and stick around for tomorrow, where I will bring you my review of Crimson Peak. That's it, yes. Till then, everyone, thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for my review of Crimson Peak. Till then, I'm Jack, and I'll see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow.